And he goes, I bet I could live in that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it all started from.
Along these roads we roam, we find adventure through traveling, camping, boondocking, and exploring.
Hello everybody and welcome to Vlogcast episode number 60. My name is Russ.
I'm Kerry.
And we are the roads we roam. We're a couple living full-time in our little guy Max, and we put out videos every day of the week.
Yes, and on Fridays it's live, and on Sundays it's live.
Definitely.
Or at least we try when the Wi-Fi works.
Yeah, we've had some issues the last couple of times. Once was on the road, and we were trying to get it from cell tower to cell tower. I guess we were outrunning the connectivity, and then Sunday we had issues. I think we were just in a bad Wi-Fi area, but they're usually pretty good.
And those are Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern
Mm-hmm.
and Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Definitely.
And also on Saturdays, there are weekly recap
Yep.
videos where instead of hearing us talk about it, you get to see what we've talked about all week. And
Yep.
those are a lot of fun.
Exactly.
And one thing that is going to be on this upcoming Saturday video is I made a trip to the Silos Bakery. I got my cupcakes.
I can't believe the Silos when you went zip lining.
I got Silos cupcakes.
To me, I went zip lining. Check this out.
Well, that will be in the video too.
Yeah.
As you can see, I survived.
Yes,
and
you did.
It was an experience of a lifetime.
Yep.
I am hooked, I think.
On cupcakes, or
Both.
I have no idea what we're talking about right
Both.
now. Both, okay.
I could do both over and over again. The first jump was the scariest.
Yeah.
I think. But we'll save all that for this weekend.
Yeah.
So if you can't tell, we went to Waco, Texas today.
Mm-hmm.
We checked out the Magnolia Market.
Yeah.
And there was a good amount of people there, but not a ton. And so I was able to walk around and get some good footage. Russ was not able to join me because of it being semi-busy.
Yeah.
No parking down there whatsoever, especially for anybody towing an RV.
Yeah. So basically, I just dropped Carrie off, went and found a spot to sit for a little bit, and when she messaged me back, I went and picked her up. I know you had a good time. I know the cupcakes tasted fantastic.
They were
so
very good.
I got to take part of that afterwards.
I got you a cupcake.
Yep.
So that was very good. And I didn't take too long there. But just being where if you've been a follower of that TV show, it's just been fun to see that change and to stand there. And the best part, believe it or not, was when I first jumped out of the truck to go over to the bakery, there was a group of people walking by, and they were looking at Teddy, our little guy Max, and the woman pointed and she said, "That's the Max." And then she noticed me kind of looking at them. She said, "I own a Mini." So it was just kind of a cool little exchange that we had there. But I had a great time.
Good.
It was a good day.
Yeah.
So anybody going through that area, I would definitely do it. We tried to go down to one of those Corps of Engineer parks in Waco.
It's still closed due to the government shutdown. I know the government is supposed to be open right now, I believe, but the gates were closed. You couldn't get in.
But here's the fortunate discovery that we made.
Mm-hmm.
We went down and followed the boat ramp for it, and we realized it was the scene where, if you watch Fixer Upper, they did a houseboat renovation one time. And that is the location where they did all the filming from that houseboat. We looked, it wasn't there.
Yep.
But, so that was kind of cool. Got my fangirl stuff out of the way. And that was
And
good.
the day before that, we had a great time visiting a great friend of ours, Liz.
We
and
did.
Verl. And had some amazing food and just spent some amazing time with good friends of ours.
And we got some jelly.
Yes.
We got some homemade jelly from that.
Yep.
It's so good. So thank you, Liz and Verl. We had a wonderful time.
We did.
And
we look forward to seeing you guys again.
We love meeting people on the road.
Yep.
We really do.
Yeah.
If we're coming through an area and we're able to work it out with you, we'd love to just do meet and greets and things like that.
Yep.
So give us a shout.
A lot of fun.
But today is our Monday.
Yep.
And we try to do An RV themed movie or documentary review.
Yeah.
One of the things when we first started researching this lifestyles, we wanted every bit that we could get on it. So we kind of scoured, and we still continue to like to watch those things. One of the things, I've had a documentary called Without Bound.
Yep.
And it features, one of the primary people in this is Bob Wells.
Yep.
And if you don't know Bob Wells, he's very well known in the RV community. And
yeah, he puts a rubber...
Tramp Rendezvous.
Yeah, that's what it is, yes.
He's the founder of the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous,
Yep.
which is this big gathering in Quartzsite every January. And this year's just wrapped up not so long ago. And it has grown every year, time after time.
Yeah, they actually had to move locations this year because there were so many people. I think I heard numbers, was it like 7,000 people showed up?
Yeah, plus 7,000 plus people showed,
Yeah.
which is just amazing. I'd love to go one year. It just didn't work out with us being
Timing-wise
in
this
Tampa.
year, yeah.
But that's what prompted me to kind of learn a little bit more about his story. And this, it's a 50-minute documentary.
Yep.
Came out in 2014.
Yep.
And what were your thoughts?
I thought it was interesting. You know, you got to see a different walk of life. You know, there are some really neat comments in there by Bob Wells, who, you know, one of them was, "I'm not homeless. I live in a car." He said, you know, and I love living in a car. He says, you know, somebody who lives in their vehicle who doesn't want to live in their vehicle, can't wait to get out of their vehicle, they're homeless. You know, He says, I'm not homeless. So I thought that was interesting. You know, and just to see the different people, you know, and the different reasons why they went in there. It does start to get a little bit political. I'm not going to weigh in on either side of that, but it does start to get a little political.
It does, and it's an interesting take on it, because you see a lot of the RV Nomads movie that we recently watched. You know, that is a group of people that are working on the road, and they have different ways, and you're seeing a bigger group of people now that are choosing and are able to choose the nomadic life like we are and work from the road.
Yeah.
But this group that is in this documentary, it has a different take on it, and they live a little bit differently than what you may have seen in RV Nomads. So it gives you, I think, a better idea of the spectrum
Yes.
of people that are full-time.
Yeah, you know, the people here are people that are either retired and trying to live very cheaply, or people who just want to get away from the rat race of everyday living. You know
what's interesting? There is a younger couple there, and it wasn't just a very quick decision on their part. They planned for this, and they said like 6 months out, they lived, I believe, in Arizona at the time, where they set their thermostat
for 90
for
in the
90
summer.
degrees, so that way they could start acclimating themselves to not being as comfortable with all the comforts.
Yeah, in the summer they were setting it for 90 degrees. In the winter they were setting it for 60 degrees. And then they started changing their diet, even before they got out of the house. And they went to a more vegetable as well as grains type diet, because they knew in their travels that they weren't going to have a refrigerator or a cooler or anything. And they knew that those would keep well. And you know, they've said we've started losing weight, we've started feeling better. So that was interesting, all the steps they took to get themselves ready.
Yeah, and I think they were probably the pioneers. This documentary kind of laid the format for what you see a lot of these movies coming out now, where it's interviewing different groups of people and how they came upon it and how they live the life and what they see for their future.
You know, one thing I saw on there that looked really cool was that solar oven, or that solar stove.
We are going to try one.
Yeah. They baked a cake in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've heard great things about it. I actually met a gentleman who kind of invented one that can be transported. He does it for a nonprofit out in Africa to help with some of the people there, so they can help boil their water and do cooking. So I've always been intrigued, and so when we get out west a little bit more and can take advantage of that, I think it'd be a fun little experiment to try to do that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. That's a really neat thing about watching all these shows. And this is a YouTube documentary, so you'll be able to watch it on YouTube. It was done very well.
I'll put the link below. Like I said, nothing. It costs you nothing other than just go
just
click
a little
down
bit of your time. But not only is it the people, but you get to see different devices, like that solar stove. You get to see different ways that people handle, things. One of the guys said that after you get your rig, he said, if you can bring in $500 a month, you can do this life. Now, that seemed kind of low to me.
It seems very low to me, even just thinking insurance.
Yeah.
Factoring in that type of stuff. I mean, I know we could minimize our costs even more, if you didn't travel as much, so you're not paying for the gas, or if you do a longer term thing. But even if you're boondocking around staying at free sites, I think you need a little bit more than that.
Yeah. 500 is, heck, we can't even get our food under 500.
We're working on it.
So I can't imagine, 500. It would have to be very minimalistic. It would be a great. Heck, I would love it if we could. I think. I don't know what the quality of life would be like at 500, but I'm sure if we had to, we probably could.
Yeah.
This movie is what, a couple years old.
Yeah, 2014.
2014. So maybe with inflation, maybe what, $575, $600 now. Maybe that's about the same. But I thought that was kind of low when I heard that number. I'm all for spending less money, but that was kind of low in my opinion.
Yeah, but it gives you a rough idea. So that one went from people just living out of their car to living in a trailer. They have a converted van, a car, the trailer, and I think his was a 22-foot trailer.
Yes.
And he said, there's these super big rigs out there, but I have everything that I need in it.
Yeah.
So it just makes you kind of rethink what things you really need. So if somebody wanted to get into this lifestyle, I'll tell you, after going to that RV Super Show, there are some amazing rigs out there. But if you need something, if you want that lifestyle, it is doable, I think, at any income level. That's the important lesson that I took from this, is that you could do this if you really wanted to and you really committed to it.
Really think about it. When we were at the RV Super Show, you saw rigs that were under $10,000 to over $1 million.
This is true.
We went in all of them, So, you're right. There is, at any budget, you can pretty much do this.
And that's kind of my biggest takeaway, because as Russ said there, it does get into the politics of it, and that's just their certain opinions, but on the whole, if you just kind of look at the broader spectrum of it, I thought it was a very interesting.
It was very interesting. Like I said, the people, how different people are doing different things, the tools that they're using.
And if you've heard of Bob Wells, this gives you a little insight to him as well.
I think this was I think Bob Wells was beginning to be popular then, but I think it was a little bit before now. Now Bob Wells is huge, in the YouTube RV world. So I think this was a little bit before that. So it was interesting to see him before big YouTube stardom.
And he's been doing it for many, many years. So it's not like he's one of those people that just jumped on the bandwagon and tried to become a YouTube personality off of it. This was his way of living for a while. And I think he's one of the pioneers of documenting his experiences on YouTube. Yeah,
he mentioned how he got into it. Basically, he had gone through a divorce. He had moved up to Anchorage, and the child support and alimony that he was paying, he could not live. He just said, I couldn't pay rent and eat while paying what he had to pay for child support and alimony.
What I thought was really nice, though, was he didn't say it.
Oh, yeah,
he made sure he said, which I am in complete agreement that was a fair things.
Yeah,
So,
but just his income just didn't match.
Right.
You know, he said I couldn't eat and live at that. And he said I'm going to eat. So he said he was driving by, and every day he'd see this green box truck, and he said, you know what? After a couple of days of passing, he goes, I bet I could live in that.
Mhm.
And that's where it all started from. So
yeah, so we recommend it. Check it out
Yeah.
if you have some extra time.
it's free. All it'll cost is your time.
That's it.
Yep. So guys, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any tips, comments, suggestions, concerns, go ahead and shoot them over to us.
You can get a hold of us at theroadsweroam.com. We're also on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, and you can check out any of our vlogs on iTunes and Spreaker.
Yep.
That's all for today. We're pushing onward and westward tomorrow.
Yep.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.